Welcome to Heartland Talks with JPS Realty Group. Today we have a special guest, Rachel Jensen from the Chamber. We're going to talk a little bit about the Chamber and what they do for Council Bluffs. Before we get started, in one of our first podcasts, Jason we had a little conversation about, the negative things that people talk about Council Bluffs, Council Tucky, and he kind of brought in this Beverly Bluffs. So we kind of ran with it, and I made these little stickers. And so I thought you might appreciate one of those.
Love a sticker.
Yeah.
And
Don't
I prefer
forget
Beverly Bluffs over.
Don't forget who came up with it. When this goes big,
Yeah.
Rachel, remember, Jason
Yeah.
came up with it.
It's
I
gonna
want
go
that.
right on my laptop.
We use it
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. This will come up in our conversation later.
Great.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
So just can you tell us a little bit about what you do and what the Chamber does for the city of Council Bluffs?
Yeah, I can try to sum that up. We do a lot. What we really try to do is we try to be that key connector for the community and for the businesses in the community to make sure that you are engaged with the right people, you're finding the connections that you need to be successful as a community member, you're finding the connections you need to be successful as a business. What we're really trying to do is just get your name mentioned in rooms you are not in and kind of do that work for you when you're a business in the community. You know, it's really hard to be a small business in the community, to be a large business who's hiring in the community. So if you have someone who has your back and is out there also talking about you, connecting people with you, connecting sector partners with you, that's what we really, really want to do and be known for.
I'm curious, like we've been a member of the chamber for years, and I know, you have the after hours coffees, and I know that, you have the ribbon cuttings or that's
Yeah.
associated with the chamber, but like, what are some of the other things that they're doing that a lot of people don't know about? Like, are you guys, and I don't know the answer to this. Are you guys, you're tied with Leadership Council Bluffs, aren't you somehow?
Yeah,
So,
that is a program that's underneath me.
Okay, so
Yep.
we've had people here graduate from Leadership Council. I know Mark Hanwright has. I know Rochelle Edwards. I think
Yeah.
Christy Majors is going in it.
Yep.
And I don't know. I've never done it. I always thought I should have.
Oh my gosh, you still should.
Oh gosh, I don't know if I have time now. But I would tell you that I'm just curious. Maybe even talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess that kind of ties into what do I do for the Council Bluffs Chamber of Commerce. So I'm the Director of Workforce Initiatives. And so when I had first started, the role was called the Director of Workforce Development. And I have come from a background of work-based learning and adult education and upskilling, the unemployed and the underemployed, things like that. So workforce development, when I think of it, is that I'm literally helping you get to the next level, to get that next certification, to get that next level of income, to be employable. That is not what the chamber does. The chamber, what we're trying to do is make sure that you have a business for your employees have access to those individuals. Like I have workforce development, career advantage, I have a Western, things like that. And you know about them and you know about their services. So that is largely what I do, keeping my finger on the work-based landscape, the workforce landscape, the workforce development landscape. Now, as far as workforce initiatives, and I was talking pretty candid with Jake about this earlier, is right now my role is workforce retention. So I do a lot of programming that is helping individuals put roots into the community, maintain their roots in the community. So a lot of the programs that I have are leadership. So that's civic leadership. You are already developed. You have that, you are looked at as a leader at your place of business. Now it's time to see where you might fit in as a civic leader in Council Bluffs, Iowa. So you did just name 3 pretty great people that are employed at Heartland Properties that have been in the program and are about to be in the program, which is very exciting. And so each day of this 9-month program introduces these individuals to a heartbeat of Council Bluffs, whether that's economic development, whether it's education, healthcare, nonprofit, so that that individual can make those connections and see where their skill set can best serve, or where, most importantly, where your passion can best serve. Because someone might want you on a board that has to do with has to do with something in the realtor's world, but that's not your passion. That's your job. So, but your passion is making sure that women have housing. That I want to make sure that you're in front of places where you can be on a board that serves that way as well. And if your passion is helping someone find their home, get rooted, get all of the services they need to buy their first house, then that happens to just be awesome because you're already in that world. And then you can also be on a board or serve in that world as well. So leadership is just one of those things, one of the many things that I do that help retain these individuals in Council Bluffs with their business. I also oversee the Council of Young Professionals because young professionals, if you've ever heard Christopher Les, CEO and president of the Chamber of Commerce, talk, that is our smallest population here in Council Bluffs. You know, with our population's staying pretty stagnant and is declining. And we're losing young professionals. And so one thing that we know is that young professionals, they can go anywhere for a job. They can find their pay, but can they be connected to the community? Can they meet the Yvette and the Jake and the Jason and belong here and feel like they belong here and make these meaningful connections? So Council Bluffs Young Professionals is designed to do that. So we have networking opportunities. We have civic engagement opportunities. So opportunities to volunteer at the different entities in Council Bluffs. And then one thing that young professionals really enjoy is the opportunity to develop. So I have every other month a development program for them, and it's developing something that you can't really just find on a calendar. So like, did anyone ever tell you how to network and what networking means? For me, they didn't. They're like, you go to this room, here's your card, you just tell them your name and who you work for. You might meet your next partner there at that networking event, but the odds are it's going to take you to go 3 or 4 times. And you're just going to need to talk. And you don't even really need to talk about yourself. You're going to really need to listen. And then all of a sudden, someone's going to need your service, and they're going to remember that conversation with you that they had at 2 networking events ago. So creating that, and then I also do women inspiring women, helping women stay belonging in the community, seen in the community, getting them opportunity, in that specific world, the guilt that can come when you start wanting to chase your career, but now you have the want to have a family and things like that, just making sure they feel heard and seen and getting them opportunities to listen to the president of CHI speak and to listen to all kinds of leadership and to know you're not alone and you just got to face those every single day and work through them and talk about them more. I also do youth leadership. So youth leadership is a little bit like leadership, but the youth leadership, I like to think of it as more as that initial introduction. It's more like the commercial. They have no idea what economic development is, let alone trying to meet people who are growing the whys. We want to just tell them about these entities and what they do for the community. We don't need to get into the nitty gritty that you would in the adult leadership because I really want them to see themselves living in Council Bluffs and staying here.
Do you go to the schools
I
and
do.
talk to the, okay.
I do. Potawatomi County schools right now. And so maybe I'll edit this. I think it's 7 schools in Potawatomi County. And I asked to be invited in. I asked, can I come speak to because you apply as a sophomore, you get accepted in as a junior, and then they have. And so then it's narrowed down to 25 individuals. This is actually so hard. It's much harder than the adult because their scores are off the charts with these, and you want to accept all 50 of them. But for capacity purposes, I can only accept 25.
So a question in regards to all 3 of those that you mentioned, what are the qualifications to get into young professional leadership and then youth group?
Young professional is Council of Young Professionals. You can just join. It's really a listserv and just coming to one of the events. Some are free, some have a cost. The cost is associated with overhead, not because I'm trying to profit off the situation, but if I'm getting charged for a venue or for food, I have to have some level of a cost. So I do 18 to 40. That doesn't mean that if you are over the age of 40, you cannot come. But what I'm trying to, you cannot join.
No, because
Yeah. Well, I'm 41 and it's hard. And I told Chris, I'm like, I don't know if I'm the right person to lead these. And he's like, you're facilitating them. You're not leading them. So like, you'll see me behind the scenes a lot at these. I'll check them in. I'll stay back. What I'm trying to get is the 18 to 40-year-olds to make a connection. to find each other, because we've kind of already found each other. Jake, I know you're a young professional. Yvette, I know you're a young professional. Jason, I know you're a young professional.
What?
And so I want you guys, you're connected here. I want you to go connect with the other Jakes and the Yvettes, and I want you to have that connection, and then you're going to help them grow in the community. You're the next leaders. They're the next leaders. They need to find each other. I need to put them in the room together. Women inspiring women, same thing. No one's paying to be a part of these groups. These ones come with a little bit more of a cost because we do workshops by women who might own a leadership company, things like that. And so to get their services to come into, so this one is about becoming a woman who leads is next Tuesday, July 21st, ran by Canby Pope, and she owns True North Leadership in Omaha. And what it is just going to help them just really dial in. I don't know if you've ever spent time thinking about who you are and what your leadership style is, instead of saying, oh, I really like Jason's leadership style, so I'm going to do that too. It's not going to work at the end because I'm not you. And so I have to find who I am as a leader and how people buy into me. So really helping women find that and be able to work through that as well. Now, leadership and youth leadership, and I know you have a question. Those ones have qualifications. And so for the youth leadership, you have to be a sophomore in high school to apply in Potawatomi County. And then the application, what really sets you apart is your answer, the in-depth of your answers, I should say. And maybe I want to edit this out later, but if I ask you if you serve on a board, don't just say yes. And I phrase these questions differently. I serve on the Heartland Properties Board because I believe that everybody should have affordable housing, and I want to make sure my voice, do they understand what leadership is? And I phrase the questions to probe that, and they know that. And same with adult leadership as well. It's heavily tied to the business. Normally a business will refer them that they are employed for. And just finding out, is this the next step because of are you already passionate about civic engagement, or are you being voluntold to do this? We try to kind of weed that out as well. But
And then on the leadership, just the adult leadership.
yeah, that's the one where we just trying to weed out that you're not being voluntold to do it. You
Gotcha.
actually
Okay.
want to be, and you're going to get something out of this. What's really important about leadership is that should you ever decide to do it, Jason, I'd love to have you. You've probably met a lot of these people.
Sure.
So you really need to go in the mindset of, I'm going to leave Jason James behind and I'm going to go learn something new, or at least make a new connection. Because I've had Dr. Brent Hasing in the class. I've had CEO of All Care. All of these individuals could be like, well, it's education day. I don't need to pay attention. It's healthcare day. I don't need to pay attention. You have to go in and know that day is going to be important. You're going to learn something new and leave everything else at the door. So really trying to weed that out in the application that you want to be here.
The adult leadership is what Rochelle and Mark did, correct?
Yep, and
That's
Christy
super
just got
amazing.
accepted
That's
too.
amazing.
Yeah.
I never even knew that was.
Yeah,
thing.
we'd love to have you, Jake. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a great.
Jake
I'm
would be
literally
great
thinking to
at
myself,
that.
I gotta do this.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in. I'm
It's
serious.
one day a month.
This is amazing.
Except the first one, September's, is 2 days, because that's your opportunity to build your relationship with your class, because you're now getting a cohort. Now, those are 24 other people that they might not like the decision you make, Jason, but they've gotten to know you. They're like, and they can tell the community, yeah, we don't necessarily agree, but we know why he made that decision. Instead of all these nasty Facebook comments, you have more people advocating for you, and even advocating when you're between a rock and a hard place and why you made a decision, as opposed to you see a lot right now in the poor speaking of Council Bluffs and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah. Recently I've done quite a bit on leadership myself. I'm involved in an organization in Nebraska called EO Nebraska, which this year I'm the president of. And I will tell you, there's a lot of different type of leaders too. I don't know if you've ever did much culture index or anything like that, and had personality exams and so on. And I did that, and I looked a lot at what I learned about myself. In my particular case, I'm what's called an architect for the personality type.
I'm an architect too.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah. So for strengths, are you more strategic?
Yeah,
Same.
more strategic, and so I had a Gallup also personality study, and I took it to the girls up front after I got it. It was a big thick book they printed out, and I took it to them, and some of the things in it I didn't like that it said about me. I was like, oh geez, is that me? And I handed it to Chrissy and Karen, and I said, can you read this and tell me, if this is sounds like me, and they're like, that sounds exactly like you, and I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
don't tell me that, I didn't want to hear that, but the idea of it is, when you learn what type of leaders people are in all different ways, it allows you to understand them better because you understand why they think the way they do.
Yeah.
And it's something I've been thinking about for our company, which is kind of expensive, but I've thought a culture index for our people because it allows you to communicate with people differently because certain people,
Yeah.
comprehend things differently.
Yeah.
And so I just think there's a lot of different types of leaders. And if you can try to get to know someone and learn how they lead, you tend to be a lot more accepting of them.
Yeah.
So-
And I agree with that, and I could piggyback off that as well, is it helps you decide the team around you in making decisions. So for example, with Women Inspiring Women, building the advisory committee, I really led with strengths. And so mine, when I did DISC, I'm a dead C. And when I did strengths, I'm very strategic. So I can get stuck in the mud. If we need to go back and look one more time, we got to look one more time. If my ducks aren't in a row, I can't move forward. I'm stuck. So I have activators on the advisory committee, and you have wooers, people that lift it up. Like, let's keep moving. Activators are like, that's okay. Let's just put a date on. We'll figure that stuff out. Getting those personalities, because you got 5 strategic people around. I bet not much is going to get done. But when it does get done, it's going to be pretty well thought
See,
out.
that's my problem. I have all these ideas, I'm the visionary. I come up with all these ideas and then, but I need someone to implement them, because
Yeah.
I don't follow through. I have tons of ideas, and if you look at my personality, it's like, yes, he's totally,
Yeah,
he
you
can
are
dream
like
up
that.
all kinds of stuff, but
Yeah.
he needs people to do it. And it's like, then if you actually put those systems together and you're like, if you get the people to actually do the stuff you come up with, you can do some great things when
Yeah.
someone's a true visionary.
Yeah.
And that's interesting to me. You brought something up though, and this is something that really hits home for me. Belonging.
Yeah.
The word belonging.
Yeah.
When I sat on the Iowa West board, we focused on belonging.
Iowa West
in our
Foundation.
Or Iowa West Foundation. I was on the
That's-
board
yeah.
there for 9 years. It was a wonderful experience and an amazing organization. And Brenda Mainwaring, there's amazing person, and just the people
Absolutely.
there, I love them. But sitting on that board and learning more about belonging and how I realized I have a real desire to create belonging, even with apartments I'm building and with our community. And I think the more things we do to create all of us feeling a sense of belonging here, whether it be at work, whether it be in the community, it's going to help with that retention. And I think that that's something that as a company, we have to focus on, and we've tried to do better. I think we've really improved our culture here. And that wasn't because of me. It was because of some of the people we brought here, and we made a conscious effort for people to maybe feel a sense of belonging and more of it's not just a workplace. But that's something that I think for the chamber and for businesses in general, whether it be within your business or the community, creating a feeling of belonging is
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah.
You know how it is when you walk in a room and you just don't know anybody and you feel that sense. It's kind of awkward. And someone like Jake's really good. He can walk in and talk to anybody. But there's some people that is
They
really
can't.
intimidating.
It is.
And I think that's something that from a chamber standpoint, anything you can do to create a feeling of belonging in this community for different people. And obviously you do that for businesses because, we've had a lot of good experiences with the chamber. But,
Good.
So
Good. Yeah.
I have one more question, or not one more, I'll have a million, but this program, This is Iowa. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that.
Yeah, that leads into a big conversation too.
Okay.
So this is Iowa's really, really exciting. When I first started, Chris was in a strategic position to look at the role that the chamber could play in the community, and then looking at my role. And my role is going to largely be based on attraction and retention for community, supporting Advanced Southwest Iowa, or leading economic development association, and how we can attract talent here and help businesses keep them. And so This is Iowa is a attraction campaign launched by IEDA, the Iowa Economic Development Authority, to attract individuals to move to Iowa. So getting the chance to tell our story about what Iowa is, not let Nebraska tell the story about what Iowa is, not let Florida tell the story about what Iowa is, but for us to tell the story. So it started with, who do we want to be? What do we love about Iowa? So a lot of quality of life, the bike paths, the runs, the things like that, outdoors. When I'm thinking about their ad campaigns, I'm picturing dog parks, what they're putting on there, outdoor patios for you eat and drink, things like that. And so that was being pushed through various channels to outside of the state of Iowa. And what would happen is it would come up in your algorithm, and that would attract you to look at Iowa. And then once you were on that webpage for a specific amount of time, there'd be a pop-up, and it would say, do you want to talk to an Iowan? Do you want to connect with an Iowan? And you would say yes. And you're like, what about Iowa is interesting you? So if you said river life, lake life, close to an international airport, and maybe a couple other things, it would trigger you to Council Bluffs. So Des Moines, IEDA would get the list. They would divide it out by, okay, this fits with Council Bluffs. And, there might be, Des Moines might have been a good fit, but, and so Des Moines might have gotten one. And I've gotten it before where the Des Moines champion sent me someone because they wanted more close to the west state of Iowa. And I've gotten ones that were more towards Davenport and things like that. We're a really good community. So then I get a chance to talk to that person on the phone from New York City to California to Indiana, what brings them here, talk about their bachelor's degrees, talk about their high school diplomas, why they want to move to Iowa, what they've heard about Iowa, and just connect with them and help them get here. So the biggest question they already always have is about the careers. So I send them an email. I lead them to a couple career websites, and then I point out 3 things that they chose about Council Bluffs when they chose those triggers I told you about. So a lot of times I sent them Hitchcock. A lot of times the YMCA, the sports Council Bluffs, soccer league, the public library was really important, and various religions, I've had where various ones where it's not as common, do you have this there? So because that's where I would go and things like that. I don't want to say the wrong one or say it incorrectly, so I'm not going to say it. But yeah, making sure that should they move here, would they have somewhere to connect with immediately?
Well, we kind of have an advantage too, because when you think about it, we're right across the river from Omaha.
Yeah.
So, we are so close to many things that a city our size wouldn't have the amenities
Yeah.
of, but you still get a small town feel.
Yeah.
So I think that's...
I always say we get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
We really do.
Yeah.
And we need to capitalize on that because we get to come home to
Yes.
Council Bluffs. And there's nothing wrong with that. You get to go to the College World Series. You get to go to the Old Market.
The zoo.
Oh, the zoo.
Yeah.
And then you come home this way. It is quicker to get home to Council Bluffs than it would be to get out to Elkhorn coming home from those areas.
Yeah.
And come here, live here. Go to our school districts, eat at our restaurants on
Pay
the
our lower
weekdays.
taxes.
Hey, and then please go enjoy yourself because we do too. Was at the college.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend I don't go over there, but you know what I don't do now that I've started at the chamber is I stop doing things over there that I could do here. I stop, I love some coffee shops over there, but now I'm at Louis Frosted Pine, Starbucks. I won't cross the river unless it's for a meeting for someone who preferred somewhere over there. But otherwise, I'm trying to stay here on things that I can do here.
I look at it as one community. So for me, I don't have, I have friends that live in West Omaha, and I live 4, miles east right of town here, and I can, we meet downtown all the time. I beat them there all the time.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting. Some of those folks would used to say, I don't go over to Council Bluffs, and I'm
Yeah.
like, or I only go to the casino. And then, over the years.
Or they call us these names.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm like, and then they start coming out to like Bentry, and they go out in those, and they come out to certain area, and they're like, man, this is really nice. And I'm like, yes, we have a newer area of Council Bluffs too that's beautiful. Just east of town, it's similar to West Omaha. It just doesn't have as big a housing
And never
developments.
forget, it wasn't that long ago that downtown Omaha wasn't the place to be. It was, and look at the work they did and look at what happened.
It's beautiful.
But when I was younger, you didn't go over there. It wasn't a place to hang out,
Yeah.
Behind the College World Series of downtown, it's crazy what they're doing. They're getting closer and closer to Carter Lake. It's insane. There's a new pizza place, but I mean, it's unbelievable.
Coneflower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
coneflower. I know. I told my husband
favorite.
earlier. I was like, does anywhere have Banana Foster's ice cream? Oh, coneflower does. We can go over there.
The best in the U.S., right?
They
Is it?
say,
They
say.
should be.
Yeah.
They are so good.
I'll tell you one of the things though that is so amazing. I think of like when I started in the business, we didn't have near the options of places to eat over here,
yeah.
and I still want more. But it's so nice that we do have options, a lot more options over here.
Yeah.
And yes, there's other things we would love. You know, I'd love to have a Trader Joe's. You know, I'd love to have a Costco.
Yeah.
You know, but in general. We have everything you need over here.
Yeah.
It's a great place to live. I always look down through this whole area right here we're in and looked at the changes from when we first came down here, when I came into town and as a 21-year-old kid in 1995, and this looked a lot different down
Yeah.
here. And even like right across the street, the post office, you know.
Yeah,
Those
that was the
apartments-
post
Oh my
office.
gosh, those
Yeah.
apartments in there are beautiful.
I have
mean,
not been in there
oh,
yet.
if
I
you have
need
not
to
been
go.
in there, go to the upper
The
floors. They took
archives?
the old courtrooms and they made like common areas with like a bar and like a hangout area. I mean, honestly, like I have, as you know, I have my own apartments I built, and I went in there and I'm like, these are much cooler.
Okay.
I mean, they are really cool. And then across the street, this building, the old Iowa Close building, that building is all brand new apartments, beautiful.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's so many good changes that's happened in the community. I think just a lot of people don't realize it, or they haven't been here long enough to realize what it used to be like.
Yeah.
And so.
That
Yeah.
leads me into something that really cool that's happening, and this is kind of a little bit digressing, but it's something that's a huge part of my life right now at the chamber. Have you heard about the Council Bluffs comprehensive plan and the downtown master plan?
Yeah.
Have you heard about those? So those are really, really awesome, and I was gonna suggest maybe you would want to have a conversation with them. But those are two things happening right now where you can dream about the Council Bluffs you want in 2050. And it's not City Hall's job to create the Council Bluffs that you want in 2050. They want it to be citywide. They want to hear from your children. They want to hear from your grandparents. They want to hear
great.
from you. They want to hear from that person in West Omaha when they come in here. What would they want to see in Council Bluffs? I listened to a pretty candid conversation. They really want you to dream because this is the plan for 2050. Someone said, hey, it'd be really great if Mosquito Creek, you could kayak or you could raft in it. Thinking about that. You want a Trader Joe's, put that you want a Trader Joe's. That can create an economic development opportunity to what if we all got on social media and a million people, 60,000 people tagged Trader Joe's and said, hey, come to Council Bluffs, And so those are surveys going out right now that is led by the city for you to dream about your 2050 Council Bluffs. So
And
that
how do you
way,
find those?
those are on. So what it is, it's called Elevate CB 2050. You can find a link to it on City Council Bluffs webpage. I can send you a link if you'd like after this.
Probably get the chamber, I assume.
Yeah. Yep. I should have brought you my little card. Everyone is out in the community talking about it. But then there's two things they're doing. They're also creating the downtown master plan and revitalizing and reinvesting our downtown. And what does that look like? You go to places, I would assume I do this, where you look at their downtown. You check out their downtown, and that's where the life is. What could our downtown possibly look like? What do you want to see downtown? What's missing downtown? So they have that as well because, again, City Hall doesn't want to own the master plan. They want the city of Council Bluffs to say what they want in the downtown.
That's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
great because you see a lot on Facebook on CB Scanner, and a lot of people in our community don't really know what is going on. They always have questions. They feel in the dark.
Yes, and
And-
that's the worst place to get your information
Yeah.
about it. On our darkest day is being broadcasted for you to read. That's just the time that you visited the hospital. Let's start by introducing you by saying your darkest day, and then we'll get to know you. I don't love that page.
It's too bad they don't have like a Facebook page. I thought
was
about
just
this. What's going on great in Council Bluffs?
Yeah.
Nothing against the CB Chad and all theirs, but it tends to be a lot of negative stuff. And that's one of my struggles of, I've felt like I've spent my whole career trying to make our city a better place. And I love our community, but sometimes I feel like people don't dream big enough. And I feel like they almost don't feel like they're worthy or they deserve what some of these other communities have.
Yeah,
It's like,
that kind of checks with like a manufacturing, like
yeah.
stick your nose to the ground and work
And it
community.
feels that way. I mean, you look, even like you mentioned, like kayaking down the Mosquito Creek, and some people, would go, oh, that's crazy. Well, I've been to a lot of communities where you look at some of the stuff they've created, and when they were going to create that, you would have thought, that's crazy.
We have a ski hill.
Yeah.
In Council Bluffs, Iowa, or in Pottawatomie County, we have a ski hill, and we don't have mountains. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, why
You know?
why can't we? I mean, people need to dream bigger, shoot for the stars, and if you hit the moon, great.
You nailed
know?
it. Yes, and surveys are tough because how many times do we get asked to do a survey? It's tough, but they are being used. I promise you, you're not wasting time by doing this survey and then asking your whole team to do it and your family to do it. Because then after this, they're going to have another round of surveys, and it's just dialing in. So then in 2050, you can say, I was a part of that. Or in 2050, I know why they didn't make that decision. We did these surveys. Here's what couldn't happen, And
That's why I think traveling's so cool too, is because you go to these big cities, like we go to Houston all the time, or just anywhere in the U.S. and you kind of look around, and you're like, wow, this would look great in Council Bluffs, or this would be a good idea for Council Bluffs. And it's kind of back to your like dream big. I think if you go out and see it kind of for yourself and know what we have here versus there, maybe some of those things we can swing on over here.
I think one of the things we struggle with is, I don't know, a lot of people, I don't know if they're not going to these places. Like an example I'll give is Indianapolis, the Cultural Trail. I mean, when they put that cultural trail in at Indianapolis, people thought, many people, there were critics, they didn't think it'd work. And, this community right here, I know could have a cultural trail from the 100 block down to, maybe down to Haymarket start out, and then what happened was when they put that cultural trail in, development just started around it because people wanted their business on it.
It was an economic developer driver. And yes.
Another example would be when I was in Pittsburgh, and down in Pittsburgh, they had like, I don't know, it was 8 or 12 miles of closed steel mills along the river. That town lost like 400,000 people from the 80s until now because the steel industry collapsed. And you look at what they did with those steel mills and all that river and how they rebuilt it. And you go to Pittsburgh now and you go, it is absolutely with the rivers there, and it's things that we could do here.
And people did it. They started with an idea and they were dreaming, and then they got together and they activated and they thought strategically and they implemented. And you got to start somewhere.
The challenge is, how do you, for those of us that go those places and see those, how do you communicate it back to the population of the people and get their buy-in? It seems like, it's like, how do you get them, to buy into these ideas that they haven't seen, or I think that's the struggle, is the communication, trying to communicate those things to them. And I don't know, I think it's always a work in progress, but I'm thankful we do have some people like the iOS Foundation and different groups that are trying to educate themselves and learn about what great communities are doing. I think they've done a ton, but there's a lot more to do.
And with the risk of not getting too negative and joining in with Facebook negativity is sometimes you have to start talking about what could happen if you don't.
Right.
What is going to happen if our population continues to decline? What's going to happen if people don't move here, or businesses don't move here? And you don't want to lead with that. That's fear, but it's also the truth, And so coming together, I'm part of the Growing CB initiative, which is with iOS Foundation, the Chamber, the county, the city. And it's a collaborative group that got together to say, hey, are we all on the same page that we want to grow the population and have strategic economic development, economic development that we're all agreeing upon, so that, you're not doing that, you're not doing that, we're all together on it. And then we kind of join in with this comprehensive plan, and we join in with the downtown master plan, and make sure that as we're doing that, we're complementing that work that's being done as well. So we needed to get together. We needed to say this needed to happen. We need to say why we're having those conversations on how do we tell people, hey, activating the river's edge is not a bad idea. Jumping on, listening about that streetcar might not be a bad idea. Can we at least listen? It's an economic driver. You build it, they're going to come. There's going to be people around it and businesses around it. So a lot of conversations are being had, and it's good there's individuals out there that want to listen to that and join in on how they can support that message.
Yeah, I would tell you that, and people have heard me bring it up a lot, but I love, Teddy Roosevelt's quote, "The man in the arena," and it talks about, bottom line is, a lot of us trying to make changes and do things, there's always going to be critics, and there's a lot of them in this town. You try to do something, you try to make it better, and people are beating you up online and criticizing you. And I always ask them, what are you doing to try to change things, or give me, and I think that the more you lead, the more I think you get critics in some cases.
Yes, you're
and
putting
you
yourself.
just have to focus and put your nose down and just keep working. If you truly know your cause is good, you have to continue to focus and push and get it done. And I get distracted sometimes by the Facebook stuff. I was building my apartments on Valley View, and I had people, they said, oh, look at this crappy, builder. He's got his paint's falling off, and, it was mud on the siding, and it was part of the construction process, and just lots of criticism. And it's painful when you're trying to make an investment like that, and people are kind of throwing stones at you. But in the end, I know what I did was right, and I know we needed it, and I know that, it was a plan, and I worked it. And so I think you just have to put your nose down and keep working hard. And I'm appreciative that the people at the chamber go every day to work and do that, because I don't have time every day to work on it. So.
Yeah. And surround yourself with really good people.
Yeah.
That is really good. And root yourself in something so that way when you do go home, I know I really had to log off of Facebook this past year just to stop seeing it, and even sometimes the chamber gets mistaked as a city entity, and the beat up you can get at just random places. And I'm just like, I'm here with my kids.
Yeah.
Or I'm here trying to get a workout. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm checked out.
The thing I would tell you about that is it's usually the same 10 to 20 people. I mean, it's the same people over and over and over. And if you look, it's the same people. They're the negative people. And everyone knows who they are. And you know what? They still read to watch the train wreck.
Yeah.
They read their stuff, but everyone knows who they are. And I feel like, I've kind of learned over time, I know that's just where they come from, and I'm okay with it, and I can
You're
live with
not
it.
going to change their mind.
Nope, and I'm going to keep
really
doing good. And you know what?
Yeah.
In the end, I'll look back, or my kids will look back and hopefully say, hey, they tried to do the right thing and do things that were good for the community, and the negativism didn't help anybody.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate Chris, my boss at the chamber. He always says, they're telling us what are they trying to tell us? Like maybe they're telling us they don't feel like they belong.
Yeah.
And what can we do? So, it's trying to figure out what is in that message. And some is just a rotten message, and that's fine. But someone is saying something, and what can we pull from that and move the needle on? So I try to do that
Make
as well.
them feel like they belong more in different ways. So that's a good point. Yep.
Yeah.
I just have one question. Why does community connection matter?
Yeah. I think that, we've been really talking about that organically this whole time. It's just community connection and retaining these awesome people in Council Bluffs is not an HR issue. It's a community issue where we want to keep these individuals here. We want them to stay here and plant roots here and lead here and go to our schools and eat at our restaurants so that we can have a really nice, thriving community that people feel proud to belong to. And the naysayers are smaller and smaller, and you kind of need them to keep yourself sharp anyways. And belonging in the community just helps individuals stay here and speak greatly about Council Bluffs, Iowa, and Potawatomi County.
Yeah. We want to keep our young people here. I mean,
really
as
do.
a community, we need to have lots of options for them, and if we want to grow, we have to keep our young people here and create more amenities. And I love this stuff down the river with climbing wall and everything they're doing down there. And that was something you heard criticism about, but in the end, it's going to be a heck of a lot better than what was there before, and it's going to activate space that wasn't really being activated. And then, I know that out at Hitchcock there, when the county, bought the ski hills, that was controversial. I mean, my own father-in-law who's watching this will hear this, and he was very controversial about it. Or not controversial. He said he didn't think it was a good idea, and I disagreed. But
I watched my son overcome anxiety and fear on that hill, on that mountain. It's been such a gift.
And I think the county will do a better job running it than what was being done, and the space has improved. And so we just have a lot of great things here, and I'm looking forward to what's to come in the future.
Yeah.
That should be a future place we attend. the three of us.
Oh, we can ski this winter as one of
Oh
our
my God, I would
podcasts.
love that. Yes, and I'm thinking like a 90s outfits.
Oh, yes, we could. Oh, the
Yes,
light pastel colors.
See, my problem is here. You guys were talking about this earlier. My problem is you have to be careful what you tell me because
It'll come to life.
no, it comes alive.
It does.
Okay,
Sometimes,
great.
like
You're an
I'll have
activator.
these, like,
I
ideas.
love this.
So what am I again?
An activator.
An activator. Okay, thank you. I was
Yes.
going to ask you guys earlier when you were talking about it because just last night I get these ideas and I want to just jump on them right
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Because I just want to try. I want to try different things and see
Yeah.
what sticks.
Yeah.
My wife will tell me, she's like, "Gee, just think it through for a couple of
Oh,
days."
you
I'm
need
like,
someone
"No way, man.
strategic on your team too. You know,
we gotta jump
it's
on
a
this. What are we gonna do? We're
balance.
gonna keep kicking the can and keep
Yeah.
talking about. Let's just
And
do
I
it.
I'll kick
And
that
when you
can
do
all
it,
the way.
the best thing is it's like these podcasts. This is our 5th podcast, and look at us. We're getting better and better and
Yeah.
better, and hopefully we just keep improving. Same with the videos we're doing. I mean, we went to 712 and went to Barley's. Barley's was
Yeah.
one of our most liked and viewed videos we did, and
Yeah.
we were talking about the food there. And
Went to
Matt
bike night.
Johnson went to bike night and did all those things. Now we're just doing, hey, let's do a video quick.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun.
You know,
Just
at first
throw
we
it
would
in.
talk
Yeah.
about it. Should we
Should
not?
we?
Now we're
Like,
like, hey,
how's
get your
this?
camera
Yeah.
out. Let's do a quick video.
You can edit anything, you know.
Yeah, you
and it's
can.
like,
Practice makes perfect. We've done a great job, I feel like.
well, and you get more comfortable the more you do them. It's
Oh,
like you're
yeah.
just having a conversation, and most people, you know, they're more comfortable just listening to a conversation than a scripted, you know. So
Yeah.
I think we'll slowly get better over time, and the key is getting good content. You know,
Yeah.
stuff people want to listen to, and topics people want to learn more about. Our one that we actually did with the lender that you said was pretty serious. That one, I will tell you, like, it had good information.
It
if you were
did.
thinking of buying a house.
Yeah.
That video, if you were a first-time buyer, had tons of great
Oh
information.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So-
I know you mentioned this too, but we had sent like a couple of our first-time home buyers that video just to kind of help them understand the process a little bit better. So.
I was a 3rd-time home buyer and I got value out of that.
That's
good.
awesome.
So
That's
yes,
awesome.
it was a good video.
Thank you.
Oh, there's the pen.
Oh, well,
Okay. And cut.
Rachel, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
it.
me.
It was great having you. And let's talk offline.
Okay.
On the what Rochelle and Mark and Christy did.
Leadership Council Bluffs.
I think it'd be great
Leadership,
for Jake to be in
Leadership
that.
Council Bluffs.
Yes.
I am 100% in on that.
Okay.
And when I say I'm in, I'm in.
I
Like, there's
believe you.
not-
I
trust me.
believe you.
He's the
I
Yes.
walk the walk. I talk
Yes.
the talk, but I make sure I walk it as well too.
Yeah.
So I'm in on that.
Okay.
Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. JPS Group here. Put a comment below who you think we should have on next, and we'll bring them in.
Would love to hear.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.